This is NewsCenter 630 with Liz Bishop.
Good evening. Liz continues on assignment tonight. For more than 15 years now, New York State has been saying driving 55 saves lives. Federal law forced us all to ease up on the gas pedal back in 1973 in the midst of the energy crisis. In recent years, 38 states have increased the speed limit to 65, but not New York, Washington, D.C., and 5 other states. Up front tonight, the grassroots move to make it 65 in New York State. Some believe it will just leave more carnage on the highways. Others say people are driving that fast anyway. Ken Screven has that report.
I think it's a very unpopular law.
If you're going 55, everybody passes you.
Despite some pressure, the Governor's Traffic Safety Council is holding firm. The 55-mile-an-hour speed limit will stay. Motor vehicle officials point to statistics which show that the number of people killed on the state's highways has dropped by a third since the lower speed limit replaced 65 on the road.
Well, there are a lot of people out here on the road who really don't believe that the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit means anything anymore, that everybody drives faster than that anyway. I've been on the road now for about an hour, driving 55, the legal limit, and everybody has been passing me.
The driving 55 issue is a personal one for many motorists. We know it's the law, but sometimes when we get behind the wheel on an interstate like the Northway, that speedometer just slips away.
I don't like it, but I comply with it. I don't feel it's really necessary. Traffic can tend to drag on, get too slow, get clogged up a lot faster.
And I'm sure if they upped the speed limit, people would go another 10 miles over that.
You think it should be increased?
Absolutely not.
The 55-mile-an-hour speed limit controversy was brought to the posh Sagamore Hotel on Lake George this week. The annual conference of the Governor's Traffic Safety Council brought together 250 traffic and highway experts. And for the first time, citizens for rational traffic law were included. The 15,000-member national group has been pushing for a nationwide 65 speed limit. New York is the group's current target.
Raising the speed limit to 65 would, in a sense, make the average driver legal for the first time since 1973. All we want to do is legitimize what is going on. The police will pull you over at 70 miles an hour. I've been told by several state troopers their pull speed is 70. Fine, make the limit 65. Continue to pull them at 70. Don't make it 55 and pull them at 70 or 68 or 67. We need an honest law. We need a fair law.
Consumer advocate Ralph Nader attended the governor's conference today. He rejects the group's claims.
If we need any more graphic illustration, when you're driving the highways in New York State and you see a big truck rig coming after you, you should remember that that truck is going to take twice as long to stop because of inadequate brake standards at the federal level than your car.
State police and state transportation officials agree, however, that 92% of the people who drive on highways in suburban and rural areas drive an average of 65 miles an hour. 70% on urban roads drive over 55.
Well, Ken joins us now from our Capitol Bureau. And Ken, how does the citizens group deal with the data that shows that highway deaths have been cut down considerably since we've been driving 55?
Well, first of all, we should point out that 46,000 people died last year on the nation's highways, and that is a lower number than it had been. But the citizens group feels that it wasn't actually the 55-mile-an-hour limit that did it. They believe that it was better roads now. We have people who are buckling up. The safety factor is more improved. Cars are much more safer than they used to be. And there's a much better enforcement as far as the police are concerned when they go out and try to catch people who are drunk driving and who are speeding. So they believe that is the factor that has created this improved fatality figure in New York State especially. So
okay. Thanks, Ken. We're going to explore that question just a little bit further, because joining me now by satellite from Washington, D.C. is a supporter of the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. His name is Henry Tasney, and he's from the Center for Auto Safety. Mr. Tasney, what about that argument? Those statistics supposedly show that there are fewer deaths, or show that there are fewer deaths since we've gotten to the 55 speed limit, but could that be the result of other factors like drunk driving laws, people buckling up, that sort of thing?
Well, it's the result of a combination of factors, Mary Beth. Included in that is the lower speed limit, which itself has been stated has saved 2,000 to 4,000 lives a year, according to the National Academy of Sciences.
Do you feel that you're fighting something of a losing battle with so many states going back to 65 and the argument that, hey, everybody's driving 65 anyway?
Well, we're fighting the battle we don't think we're going to lose in the end, because eventually most states and most people will realize as the death statistics come in that this is just a health and safety issue that is costing lives and costing personal injury and head trauma cases. So the tide will eventually be turned back towards safety and for public health.
Okay, Henry Tasney from the Center of Auto Safety, thank you for joining us from Washington, D.C. tonight.
Thank you, Mary Beth.
All right, you've heard the arguments for and against raising the speed limit, and now we want your opinion. Tonight's televote question is, should the speed limit be raised from 55 to 65 miles per hour? If you think it should be, call 476-9666. If you think it should stay at 55, call 476-9668. We started the televote at 6, so let's see how you're voting so far. So far we have the yeses and the noes almost even. The yeses are slightly ahead. And we'll get back to that later in the show.